What's going on, YouTube? What's going on? So this video gonna be about Gregory Hines. Um, turned down the 48 hours role, which went to Eddie Murphy. Interesting. Gregory Hines wasn't just a song and dance man. He did the Cotton Club with Richard Gere. Of course, another buddy cop movie. And you remember Black Cop, White Cop? Remember him and Billy Crystal running scared? So his foray. And he did a lot of different type of projects. He was a what you call a true all-around entertainer, you know. Because when he did There's Nothing Better Than Love with Luther Vandross and he was singing, I was like, so many people, I was like, wow. And he was a bass guitarist. The guy could dance like nobody's business. He was a pretty good actor. He had some chops. He was pretty well rounded. It was like, wow. And I still, one of my favorite films, you asked me, is Taps with him and Sammy Davis Jr. and Savon Glover and all the greats that were, love that movie. I could watch Taps. It's like one of my underrated, my low key, one of the movies I just did. But anyway, Gregory Hines in this particular role, and it got me thinking because they like the buddy cop. I remember Nighthawks with Sylvester Stallone, Billy D. Williams, Black and White, and then the whole thing got me wondering how this may have worked with him and Nick Nolte. I don't know because Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal worked because the vibe was there, but who was going to be the comic? Because Nick Nolte and Gregory Hines would have pretty much just been kind of dry. So I don't know who would have actually brought the comedic fuel to it. Um, but it's so interesting when I think about it back in hindsight. It was a pretty good, um, interesting pair when you think about the characteristics and everything. But I think the right person had gotten it. I don't think that necessarily would have worked in that capacity. I think that, sometimes you just look at the situation, you think, yeah, they weren't with the right person. They definitely weren't with the right person. Because, when you're looking at these movies, you gotta have the right chemistry, the synergy, and everything that's gotta hit a certain way. And if you don't, then it's a gutter ball. So I think that it definitely worked the way it was supposed to. I think it had the right balance. Um, it has to fit a certain criteria. And, when you get the delivery and everything like that, it has to definitely fall into place. So I think that that's one of the things that you look for. And, but Gregory Hines always seemed to find himself in vehicles that he could diversify his portfolio. I remember when he was in Waiting Exhale, you know, different type of roles, different ways that he could do different things and it was interesting. But I don't know about the 48 hours thing. I think that, maybe him and Eddie together, that would have been interesting with Nick Nolte as a sidekick. But I don't know about him and Nick Nolte carrying that movie. Sometimes, and it's amazing when you find out who didn't get the role, who could have gotten the role, this and that, and then you think about personalities. It really, you know. So anyway, that's quite a discovery that Gregory Hines, you know, passed on it, but it went into the right hands. And of course, Running Scared was a cool film. You know, I still remember when he did the video with him and Billy Crystal, Michael McDonald, Sweet Freedom, which I liked a whole lot and that vibe. But anyway, let me know what you think. Gregory Hines passed the 40 hours, went to Eddie Murphy. Would you like to see Gregory Hines in that movie, or do you think that he did the right thing by passing it? Please hit the like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear. Watch out for another shit if you like, and hit that membership because when you do, requests like this come true. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free, and my peace.